Hey there guys and gals, welcome back to BackPocketGameReviews, and today we are going to talk about a topic that I am constantly getting asked about, or at least I'm going to give you my input on said topic, and that specific topic is, well, Camelot 331. How honest is he being about these, well, GameStop coming after him videos? So honestly, I get messages from a lot of you probably multiple times a day asking, hey, have you seen Camelot 331's videos? And y'all tell me you think they're interesting. Hell, even one of my old GameStop managers has sent me one of his videos saying, hey, what do you think about this guy? And I'll be very upfront. There are parts that I'm going to agree with and parts I disagree with. When it comes to his stories and his experiences there and all of the shady stuff that he talks about people in that company doing, yes, 110% possible. No doubt in my mind, he saw some shady stuff while he was there. However, the parts where I do have a discrepancy, in case you haven't watched any of his videos, he is saying that GameStop is coming after him for his videos. And once you start watching those videos, you realize very clearly that it's just hearsay from other managers in the district saying that his old district manager has a vendetta against him, and a lot of this stuff that's going on. So now I will say this, if you mentioned your old district manager's name, yeah, I could see why he would be a little bitter or upsetty spaghetti about it, but I don't think you did. I can't go back through, I'm not going to sort through and watch every single one of the videos just to find out. I watched a lot of this guy's videos just so I could actually do this video. However, the interesting part is it is all hearsay. And you may be like, well, Nick, how do you have proof of that? Well, he does state it in his video, and me being the guy that I am, I did ask him on Twitter, and this was the response I got. Hey, thanks for the question. Sure thing. So I know there are outlier areas that are run a little more straight edge. My district was a cesspool. Everything I've ever said in GameStop story videos is 100% true. Which, again, I agreed with that. Yeah, most likely those are true. With several people to vouch, it was quite an experience. Now the person that contacted me from Corp, I don't want to oust them at all. A little info, he has been with the company for over 2 decades. Sent me pictures of him at corporate office with current and previous leadership. Someone online, you can't really always prove that you are who you are. I mean, you see me in front of a camera and you get my, when you're a face, it's much easier. Sent me pictures of him in front of the corporate office with current and previous leadership. He also said my name was brought up several times in the last 2 weeks on conference calls with leadership. He is telling the truth? Question mark. There is no telling, but that's why it's I say if it's true in the videos. Now, as far as my old DL contacting me, that would be, hang on, it was a long... That would be legal suicide if they contacted me directly. 2 SLs contacted me and told me the info, which I explain in the possible lawsuit video, which, to be honest, I think that would be a PR nightmare, so they won't pursue it, or at least I wouldn't. Anyways, about to hit a stream. Thanks for reaching out, man. Fun meeting other people from the battlegrounds. Pop in if you wanna. We always have fun. Thanks, bud. That was the response that I got from Mr. Camelot. So, I will say this. Judging off of hearsay, saying, oh, this company is going to go after me legally, but when you watch his videos, the hearsay part of it isn't really brought to the foreground. It's kind of presented as the small background information. So no, I don't think anyone's going after him. And the greatest example I can also give you is he told me that another one of his, because this was another thing I asked about, he told me another one of his corporate friends had informed him of GameStop having a machine that opened new games so they could sell them as used to lie to the investors, showing they sell more used. That's not true. And the reason why that's not true is because they would send out new games that they knew they could sell for more as used than what the recommended MSRP was to the stores, have us open them, put them on the shelves. I told you guys about this with the Metroid Prime trilogy and with the Xenoblade Chronicles games on the Wii. GameStop had exclusive rights to sell those, so GameStop only sent a few out during pre-orders. Months later, all of a sudden we got full boxes, full shipments of unopened ones telling us to open them and sell them for $90 used when new they were only selling for $49.99. Crazy, because that's called manipulating supply and demand. Now, on the other hand, if they were opening new games, brand new games, just games that are coming right out, opening them, putting them out on the shelf, the reason why they wouldn't do that is a double-sided issue. If they did do something like that, A, that is cooking the books and lying to investors and also losing them money. GameStop did not make any money last year. It cost them money. Like, they are negative dollars because they were in business last year. They cannot afford that hit, even in an essence to make investors happy. Also, on the second hand, that is highly illegal, and if they were lying to their investors in that way, that would be the end of GameStop if even one of them caught wind of that. So that's that kind of cooking the books they wouldn't do. They would do it to control supply and demand, because they'd be like, well, we made this game so hard to find because we only gave a couple copies to each store, and we had exclusive selling rights so we can jack up the price. Now, the other part that I dislike here is, why would GameStop go after you if they did want to push a lawsuit? No offense, you have some great GameStop videos, but you aren't even the most viewed on the GameStop videos. There are people that have done way more harm to GameStop than you. And GameStop really doesn't need anyone to falsify anything to hurt them. They do a good job hurting themselves. It's sort of like how I always talk about when people want a conspiracy theory, when people are like, oh, the government's behind 9/11, and it's like, just look into the Federal Reserve, because you don't really need a conspiracy theory to find out something crazy going on. Sometimes we fish and we dig really hard to find out stuff or find something going on, and we don't really have to, because the truth is actually crazier than the made-up story. Now, obviously you can see why I said with that information, but then he said he lost his job because GameStop reached out to his job, and again, that is hearsay. His HR department got an anonymous tip. Now, for you to blatantly assume it was GameStop, it could just be someone at the new company that dislikes you and reached out to HR, like, or maybe even someone who's concerned about the company, like, hey, this guy makes really hateful videos about his former employer online. And as a current employer, yeah, that would make a lot of them nervous. Again, I could see where that would come into play with HR, especially if it's a smaller company. Do we want anything like this being said about us online? Thank God we found this before this went this route. And you never know. It's just that's sort of one of those things. But to say that an anonymous tip was GameStop, like, this was GameStop, oh, I'm going to spill all the beans. He said that in a video. I'm going to spill all the beans because GameStop did this. GameStop didn't do this. It was an anonymous HR tip. Could have been your old district manager. Could have been someone that just dislikes you. Simple as that. Now, the last part was recently. I know, these things just keep going on. And it's crazy because if you look at his community post too, it kind of fits that narrative of they don't really fully outs that it's running on hearsay. So like if you go back to some of his older ones, hey, my beautiful Camelot, today is the day. Apparently some anonymous source got the higher-ups in my current company. A very small company, might I add. They tipped them off about my YouTube channel, which they investigated. I was interviewed about it by my HR department for over an hour. They then said exact words, my employment might become a liability in the future. And yeah, you are bashing a company publicly online. That is something that is a liability to them. Then dismissed to discuss my future with the company. This happened last week. Today I was informed not to attend our Tuesday meeting. My boss, who isn't in good at keeping things secret, told me that someone high up from my GameStop days called our HR line. So it's all just based around a lot of hearsay. A lot of hearsay. And then you have the new video where he's saying his friend got fired because they were worried she was giving him information. Let me point out something. He also states in the video that it says the alarm said she didn't actually open the store when the store was supposed to open. And he stated, can't they just go back and check the cameras? They can. And I guarantee you they wouldn't have fired her if they didn't. Because he mentioned several times this is an at-will state. The way at-will states work is, yes, they can fire me at any time for any reason. However, if it is an incorrect reason and I can prove the reason is incorrect, and if she is a manager, she had access to said video, and if she knew that it was going to be a problem, she should have taken pictures just to prove it. Because GameStop has fired a lot of managers for not opening the store when the store should be open. That is a huge problem at GameStop. That is something that they have a lot of issues with, and that is something they have a no tolerance policy on. You get like a oopsies once, and it better be a very small oopsies, and it better have an excuse to go with it. Like, oh my god, my child got hit by a car. Sure, they'll let you out of it then. But if it was, oh, I slept through my alarm, no, you're screwed. You are screwed. I know 2 managers personally who got let go because they didn't open the store on time for reasons that weren't good enough to GameStop. I won't give my personal opinion on them. As I said, they're my friends, so you can imagine how I feel about that. But even in an at-will state, if you fire someone for a wrong reason, so if it is a false reason, you are legally in deep shit. You can get sued. That is still wrongful termination. I can fire you for whatever reason. I just can't lie about what that reason is, or I can't do something that's an unlawful reason of termination. That's why a lot of companies will look for little small nitpicky things to get rid of someone. And usually those employees aren't the people that are performing great numbers or anything along those lines. And it does suck to hear about your friend, don't get me wrong about that, Mr. Camelot guy. That does suck. She has kids, I get it. But I've also been in that same situation, know a lot of people that met that same fate. And I can tell you that it's highly unlikely the DM would do it if she were in there on time, especially if he can check the actual cameras, which he can. So that's kind of where I sit on that. I don't necessarily think that's being 100% truthful, because he opens himself up to a lawsuit. Just like you think you're open to a lawsuit, which you're not unless you're spilling trade secrets that you learned while you were there. So if GameStop did have said machine that opens games, and the guy who told you gets ousted for telling you, yes, he would then be liable for selling company secrets. However, at that point it really wouldn't matter, because GameStop would literally go bankrupt within a month. Like, if that happened to be true and it got outed, you could kiss that whole company goodbye in a blink of an eye. Guys, if you are new here, you can find all of my links in the description box down below, including my Teespring, Patreon, Xbox Live ID, PSN, anywhere you want to be. I'm like Visa, even my Twitter. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a thumbs up, and if you're new here, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ding that bell, because women like a buff, manly man. Show your woman that you're man enough to ring BPGR's bell. I'll see you guys later with plenty more coming for you.